Hey everyone, Scottish Warrior 92 here, and welcome to another WION review, which stands for Worth It or Not. And in today's WION review, I'm going to be reviewing the second in the Dragon Age series of books, Dragon Age: The Calling by David Gaider. Firstly, if you hear me wincing in pain at any point in this video, it's because I have sunburn on my left arm, and it stings like a bitch. Ow! Yeah. The sun does not like me at all. It's been absolutely scorching here where I live for the past 4 days. Hence the vest, so I can show off my muscles. What muscles? But let's get to this WION review. Firstly, I'm going to make sure everyone knows this, that if you're watching this, I'm not going to spoil this for you, but at one point in the video, maybe about halfway through it, after I go over the overall plot and all that, I'm actually going to talk about two major spoilers in the book for those that have read it, and I want to discuss it. So I will mention at that point whether or not this book is worth your money or not, and also I will warn you so you can click off the video if you haven't read the book and you're thinking about getting it, so you don't mention the two spoilers, because one of the spoilers is actually something that happens right at the end of the book, and I just want to ensure that I don't spoil it for anyone. So, firstly, this is the second book after the first Dragon Age book, The Stolen Throne, and the main characters, not really main characters, because it's really a group of Grey Wardens and Merrick, the previous character from Dragon Age, The Stolen Throne, the King of Ferelden, are the main characters. But there were quite a few Grey Wardens, so I can't remember all of their names, but I do remember the majority of the main important ones. Firstly, let me get to the overall plot. The overall plot of this, of Dragon Age: The Calling, is that a group of Grey Wardens consisting of quite a few, including Duncan from Dragon Age Origins, basically the guy who recruited your main character in Dragon Age Origins. He is in this book, and it's actually set not that long after he became a Grey Warden. It's only been a few months since he actually became a Grey Warden, and I do believe that's him on the front cover. I could be wrong, it's difficult to say. But I will say that he is in the book, and it really is more like given his origin, in my opinion. It's really giving you his backstory, how his character evolved and became like the Duncan that we know in Dragon Age Origins. Now the story follows Merrick, Duncan, elven mage Grey Warden known as Fiona, Genetiva. I am so sorry. What is it with all legions and fucking hard to pronounce names? Yeah, the Grey Wardens in this are from Orlais, so it's the Orlesian Grey Wardens. I honestly, what is it with fucking Orlesians and fucking hard to pronounce names? For fuck's sake, get easier to pronounce names. Jenny V. I'm calling her Jen. And several other Grey Wardens whose name I can't remember. We also actually get Uther. Now, if you don't know who Uther is, she was actually in Dragon Age Awakening. She's the dwarf that's with the architect. She's in this book. And also, the architect is in this book. He's in here. But let's get back to the plot. The overall plot is basically a group of Grey Wardens consisting of those that I mentioned and King Merrick basically venture into the Deep Roads after Jen's brother, who was the commander of the Greys before his calling came. The Calling, hence the title. Which, if you don't know, let me give a quick recap. It's basically what happens to the Grey Wardens after about 30 or so years after they've initially taken in the Darkspawn blood and done the joining. After about 30 or so years, the Grey Warden will get something which is called the Calling, in which basically it's their time to die, basically. In which they go to the Deep Roads and fight Darkspawn until they die. This book actually is mainly to concentrating on that. It's actually gone into more into depth about the Grey Wardens and what they stand for and how much they sacrifice to become Grey Wardens and protect against the Blight. I'll get to that in a moment. But the overall plot of that is basically they're going in there to rescue Jenny's brother, who is in the Deep Roads, who's been captured by Darkspawn, mainly the architect. Because he knows the location of the old god, and their whole goal in this is to save him and stop a blight, which unfortunately they fail at, which is apparently Dragon Age Origins. They do succeed, but I won't spoil too much. And that's the overall plot. Basically the whole plot is for them to basically prevent the blight. And Merrick has known about this, the possibility of a blight coming, because of what happened in the previous book, The Stolen Throne, when he had to talk with Flemeth. Yeah, she is in that book, by the way. And that's the overall plot without going into too many spoilers. It's a very well done and very well written plot. It's excellently written. David Gaider has done another fantastic job on this. The writing style I absolutely love. I do love it. It goes from the point of view of each character at one point, each main character. Main characters it goes with as it comes from Fiona's point of view, Duncan, Merrick's, Jen's brother at one point. And it mainly switches between them throughout the story, but the main focus one is mainly Merrick and Duncan, more so. And I will say this, Duncan is fucking awesome in this book. I absolutely adored him. He's not the same Duncan he was in Dragon Age Origins, but you get to see his evolution from this book. The Duncan in this book is not the Duncan that's in Dragon Age Origins, a character, but his character, this is where he started, and it tells you how he became the Duncan in Dragon Age Origins, because he was a lot different in this book than he was in Dragon Age Origins. He still had that sense of nobility and honour about him, but he really does have a bit. He actually has a really bad, really depressing backstory. Actually, I don't want to spoil too much, but he does have a bit of a depressing backstory, which is really sad. And that is very well done. There are some I do have favourite scenes in this book, and they're mainly spoiler ones, so I'm not going to talk about them. But it's excellently written. The characters are very flushed out. There's never, I will say this one thing, David Gaider is pretty damn awesome at never once resorting to Deus Ex Machina or plot convenience. Everything that happens in this book, you know how it could happen. He explains it in one point. This is really spoilerish. I can't really say if it is, but at one point in the story, Duncan actually steals something from the Circle of Magi, which is an onyx dagger, and that onyx dagger actually comes into play later on in the story, but it also gives a little reason why something didn't happen to Duncan at one point in the story, which is very well done. Another thing I wanted to talk about is a wee bit about the architect. The architect is actually very well done. He's still the same architect. He still wants to free the Darkspawn, but his way of freeing the Darkspawn is kind of sick, morbid, and depressing, and kind of crazy. He wants to commit mass genocide, basically. And he's very well done. And one thing that I really do, now he didn't use this in the DLC Dragon Age Awakening. He actually has the ability to actually increase the speed of the taint, actually accelerate the Grey Warden taint inside them to the extent in which basically they become like ghouls, like the way that Uther was in Dragon Age Awakening, which is awesome. I'll say it right now, it is awesome. And he's very well done. I do love the architect. He's definitely the architect from Dragon Age Awakening, but a lot more darker and has a bit more of a genocidal plan than it does in Dragon Age Awakening. It's very well done. Not once did I see a problem with plot holes or Deus Ex Machina or plot convenience. I didn't see any of that in this book, which is very tricky to do. I will say that David Gaider done a fantastic job on that. And it's very well done, very tense. I couldn't really put this down at some chapters. Some chapters I did put it down and go, take a break, let's go relax now. But some chapters I just couldn't stop reading, especially when it gets towards the end. It's very well done and very well written. So now I'm going to answer the question, because I really want to talk about the two spoilers that I want to talk about now. And that is is Dragon Age The Calling by David Gaider worth it or not? And the answer is definitely a yes. This book is definitely worth every single penny of your money, and I would definitely highly recommend it to any Dragon Age fan. If you're a Dragon Age fan and you like The Stolen Throne, definitely read this. And also if you like Dragon Age Origins, it's definitely a must read for any Dragon Age fan, because it not only Dragon Age The Stolen Throne flushed out Loghain's character, Dragon Age The Calling flushes out Duncan's character more so. And definitely an excellent read and absolutely fantastic. David Gaider, another great job, well done. And he definitely knows what he's writing about. One thing I do like about this is at the start of each chapter, it actually, I think it's referencing the Chant of Light and also different things from Dragon Age Origins, like the texts in Dragon Age Origins. This one in particular. And so in the Golden City, blackened. I fucked up there. It's from chapter 2, but I'm not going to spoil it. It's not really a spoiler, so I'm going to read it out quickly. And so, I'm fucking up this big time. And so is the Golden City blackened. With each step you take in my hall, marvel at perfection, for it is the fleeting. You have brought sin to heaven and doomed upon the world. That is from Catius of Thunderous 813. Fucking love that wee bit. That's very referencing the chant of the history of the books from Dragon Age Origins, and also the chant of light. So definitely, if you're a fan of Dragon Age, a must read. Even if you're not a fan of Dragon Age, definitely a must read. David Gaider done another fantastic job, and definitely a must read. So I'm about to run out of time here, so I'm going to do another part 2 of this video, and that's where I'm going to talk about spoilers. So if you don't want to talk about what any spoilers, do not watch part 2. But if you do want to watch it, watch part 2, which should be up just after this. So I'll be back in a moment.